Hello and welcome to NJCDC's The Loft. Today, we have returning members from the Great Falls Youth Center. But before that, we have a new member, a new seat at the table. Fred, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hello. My name is Frederick Watuko, and I am an AmeriCorps member at the Great Falls Youth Center.
Great. And then we have our lovely students returning back here again, Deasia, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Deasia Curry.
Okay, there you go.
And I'm 17.
All right. Okay, Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean Lewis, from back. I'll go to JFK.
Okay, so first and foremost, today we're gonna be talking about Halloween, all types spooky. Do you guys dress up at all for either trick or treating or some sort of Halloween party? How do you currently stand on that?
I don't really I used to go 2 years ago with my cousin.
Okay.
But I don't we stopped going because they stopped reaching out, so we don't really go trick or treating no more. But if it's a Halloween party, my school, where the seniors were hosting a Halloween party on Friday. Yeah, next Friday.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna go to that. I have to get a costume.
Yeah, you can dress up. Well, what are you gonna dress up as?
Probably Velma.
Velma, Scooby-Doo. All right. Okay, a classic. All right, Sean, what do you think? What are you thinking?
For me, I never really celebrated Halloween.
Okay.
And I feel even if I were to right now, I wouldn't, because I'm a grown man.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's more of a religion thing.
Oh, okay, so can you speak on more on that? Can you speak more why, just why, was it just your family? What was the reason?
Really, most of my family, because we didn't, as a Christian, we don't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you ever, how do you feel about Halloween in general then? At least growing up, how did you feel about Halloween?
Well, the whole thing was we didn't go outside on Halloween, because we look at the literally our Halloween was celebrated by looking at the news the next day and seeing all the crimes that were committed. All the crimes that were committed. We had clowns egging people's houses.
Wow.
Shooting people. It was just crazy.
It's a somber November. Yeah.
Well, I grew up in New York, Bronx, so
that's why.
It's common occurrence.
Yeah. How did you feel about Halloween growing up, Deasia?
My grandma, she didn't really like the topic because she's Christian too, and she goes to church and stuff. So every time someone brings up Halloween, she says that she doesn't want to hear about it because that's just the devil coming out to play and stuff like that.
I see. Okay, I understand. Fred, do you have any kind of just general stances on Halloween or how you felt about Halloween as the years went by?
Definitely. So one of the things that I kind of relate to both of the students is that because I grew up in a Buddhist household.
Okay.
I even questioned my mother about since we're Buddhists, how do we even celebrate holidays? And it's interesting in my perspective, is that to be very specific, is that I kind of practice a certain branch of Buddhism. And it's not that we don't really kind of cater towards any devilish ideals or idols or anything like that, but more catering towards the cultural aspect, because since my parents are coming from Peru,
okay,
it's trying to flood me and my brother in American culture.
Okay, I see.
It's actually kind of the opposite of Yatu, of the Asian Sean, is that my parents actually encouraged that I embrace the holidays of the American culture. Halloween is one of them, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's is everywhere, but
yeah,
Easter and all those holidays are really just kind of implemented in my life because my mom wanted me and my brother to understand that we're American.
Yeah.
And that we're a new generation to speak towards us. And but yeah, throughout the years I have gone trick-or-treating. I definitely dressed up as well, and I had a great fun experience with it too, because not only I got to spend time with family but with friends, and just going I don't trick or treat where I currently live because it's a really rough area.
Okay.
But I would step out of town and knock on doors.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's so it's like, you know, in your perspective or in your family's perspective, Halloween was kind of like as American as apple pie, you know, which is interesting to me. I don't know if I like necessarily associate Halloween with like America. Yeah, but I understand kind of where you're coming from with that, right? So I see how like Halloween kind of like impacted kind of your life along with like the other,
yeah.
you know.
And as I got older, like I even became like more like seeking towards of like what is like the point as well of these holidays.
Mhm.
And Halloween really is just because I've also have Hispanic relatives where they also celebrate Dia de los Muertos,
Yeah.
and that's another culture where it's like respecting the dead.
Yeah.
And
Coco.
There you go. Well, I mean, yeah,
Coco.
that's what that movie was about.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just really about on my eyes, it's not like idolizing the devil.
Yeah.
It's not like really kind of bringing out all the evil, but more like it's representing like, hey, there's this stuff in the world, and it's like a reminder, you know.
I suppose. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I kind of see that. I see that perspective. But I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up in a Catholic household as well. You know what I mean? So I definitely see the perspective of like your family where it's like it was discouraged, you know, because of like those reasons. But those reasons too make a lot of sense, and I feel like that's a common story. Just like not as far as like Halloween, but just generally a common story with like immigrants just like wanting to like have, you know, wanting to have, you know, the next generation off in a better place, and that's kind of like, you know, that's
Exactly.
yeah,
Like
that's
I've
nice.
really had a great experience with Halloween throughout the years.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing like creepy at all. But
Yeah.
like there are like stuff that like definitely should be kept away with kids. Like any gore,
Yeah.
violence and all that, etc. But
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with a kid to dress up as a skeleton?
Yeah, that's fair. Well,
It's just-
speaking
it
of
sounds
which,
a little funny.
it is. I mean, hey, you know, but speaking of which, though, I want to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about like Halloween movies, like horror movies? Is that kind of like your thing, or do you kind of, you know, like, so how do you feel, Deja? Actually, Sean will go first this time because Deja went first last time.
So basically, when it comes to horror movies, the way I view them is like I used to think they were very scary. Like they used to really like stay in my head.
Mhm.
Like I'm envisioning everything, but like nowadays it's like I already know it's all acting and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's fake. It's not real. But growing up, they were pretty fun. Like my favorite horror movie probably. I don't even think it count for real, but Bird Box. Bird Box was peak.
Oh, I haven't seen that one, but I heard really
Bird
good.
Box was peak.
Yeah.
Like, Bird Box was so up
Okay.
there.
Do you think like, I mean, I'm assuming that perspective of like, you know, their acting, you know, that was that like only growing up, or do you still kind of feel that way now? Because I mean, that's all
Yeah.
media, that's all movies.
Yeah,
now.
I very much feel that way. But like at the same time, like if I'm watching a comedy, like I could actually get into a comedy and enjoy
Yeah.
the comedy because like they making me laugh. Even if I see something that's obviously fake, I'm not gonna be thinking about it. But if it's
Yeah.
a horror movie and they trying to scare me, it's like
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
understand. Well, horror movies are notoriously hard to make actually scary. You know what I mean?
exactly. Especially
So-
nowadays.
Yeah. So there are some movies that have succeeded, but it's a tall task, you know?
Yeah.
So Deja, how do you feel about horror movies, Halloween movies, what have you?
I like Halloween movies,
Okay.
and I don't really like horror movies, but like if it's a new one and it just came out and I haven't seen the trailer, then I'm not watching it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But my favorite Halloween movies will have to be the Scream series,
Ah, okay.
and my favorite movie from that series is Scream 6.
Is that the most recent one?
Yeah,
Okay, with Jenna Ortega?
yeah.
Okay, nice.
You know what's my favorite
What was your
scary movie?
scary movie? You know what's crazy? I haven't seen the Scream movies. I only know the Scream character because of Scary Movie. Which is hilarious. Which is like the worst place to learn about.
To be introduced to.
Yeah, to be introduced to that character. You know, some people are like kind of elusive. Like they try to stay away from like the gore and whatnot. Is that are horror movies a movie you can see alone? Do you feel like you would be scared if you watch alone, or do you need somebody with you?
I'll probably need to have somebody with me, like one or two people with me.
Fred, what are your opinions on scary movies?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I've watched a lot of like horror. I don't get like kind of scared that easily nowadays because
Yeah.
I've built up that tolerance of like watching scary movies as a kid. Like when I was a kid, of course I would get like scared and all, but I find out these little it's really interesting towards some movies where they bring out some kind of hope at the end of the movie. And that's where I find it like really like either a message out of it or like, hey, this protagonist is about to live forever
Yeah.
after this endured of like horror. And this is actually kind of funny because I really fell into the horror movie aspect when I first saw Jason versus Freddy. That was a fire
Okay.
movie in my opinion because of how goofy it was.
Yeah.
But why I find it like interesting was that like, yo, I imagine like all these other crossovers too, which is really, really like a fun idea, which can actually bring into like more ideas in certain movies and like, cause I just like the idea of crossovers
Yeah.
because it could either be funny or it could be scary, and it's
Yeah.
no in between. If it is in between, it might be a really
Yeah.
bad
I mean,
movie.
yeah, yeah,
So-
probably right. I mean, there was the one like the girl from The Ring versus the like I forgot the names of the actual characters, but there was the one scary girl that comes out of the well, and then you have versus the one scary girl that comes out the TV, right? Or was that the same? But I know
Ring
there
is
was
the TV, and well, I think it's called The Grinch, or I might be wrong.
No, the Grinch is
Grudge,
the
No,
Christmas
Grudge,
movie.
Grudge. I said Grinch.
The Grinch. That's
That's
Jim
how
Carrey.
that's
That's somebody
Jim
else.
Carrey,
Yeah,
Very different.
Christmas. We're a
Yes,
few
it's
months
the
ahead.
Grudge.
Yeah, yeah.
Grudge.
Yeah, so they did come out with that movie, and it's funny you mentioned those movies too, especially the Freddy versus Jason movie, because I feel like a lot of like we said before, horror movies are really hard to be scary. So sometimes they end up like goofy. So I want to ask you guys, as far as in my opinion, the most scariest experiences you can have is when you're actually playing a game and it's like a horror game, right? So I want to ask you guys about, do you have any experiences with horror games, or is that like something you're not really into gaming or want to stay away from, or is that too scary? Like, what do you think?
When it comes to scary games, I stay away from them. I can't because like the anxiety be getting to me. Like my little brother, I got a PS5. My little brother, he wanted to play that new FNAF game. Not even new right now, but like
Yeah.
he wanted to play it. And it was on PS Plus, so I'm like, all right, I'll download it for you. But he don't know how to play for us, so he's expecting me to go through this entire story. But I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I went through half of it, and then it's like they were really easy stories. Like it was like it wasn't scary, but
It was when you're walking around.
like walking around
Yeah,
that
yeah.
too. But it's like in a really an objective game rather than a
Yeah,
scary game.
I know what you're talking about.
But
Yeah,
it's the anticipation that I might get caught or I might get like, you know where I quit? It was like the middle of the game, not even the middle of the game. When you go into the daycare.
yeah.
I
The
went-
daycare attendant, that's a scary part of the
Yo,
game.
And then I turned off the lights turned off and he turned into Moon. I'm like, bro, I'm not playing this no more.
Yeah.
I had told him I deleted it, and to get it back I had to pay, and I don't have no money. Like,
Yo.
I had to lie to him. But yeah.
Yo, nah, that was Freddy's security breach. That one
Yeah.
wasn't as scary as the other
It
ones, I
wasn't
would
at
say.
all,
But that part was a notoriously one of the notorious scary.
couldn't.
parts.
It was too tough.
I would say with like horror games, it's like I wouldn't do it alone. I would do it like for the clout. You know what I mean? Because if I was hanging out with my friends, we're like, "Yo, let's just play a horror game and just get scared and have a good time." But I would never go by myself. You know?
I'd rather watch somebody play the horror game than
Exactly.
yeah, like I can't physically do it because now I feel like I'm in that exact situation.
That's
and
what
it's
I'm
gonna
saying.
Cook me. Like, the anxiety is just too much.
So, Deja, what do you think? How do you feel? Is that something you played before? Are you into it? You're not into it? What do you think?
No, I don't like. I play Dress to Impress. I don't play. I don't play horror games.
Yeah, there are a lot of scary games. Some of the most popular scary games these days are on Roblox.
That's
very true.
wild.
That
That-
is very
yeah.
true.
Yeah,
I
like doors.
They have like this mouse game or something. Then they have like this granny game.
The Granny, well, Granny. I think they just took that from like the iPad.
from an iPhone.
From, like,
yeah,
the
like from a
there's,
Play
like-
Store.
Yeah, one of the, like is a Play Store game, but it was a very popular game.
Now the granny games, like that era of scary games, like that just branched off of Hello Neighbor. Because Hello Neighbor was a scary game for me. I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
Hello Neighbor, I couldn't.
It is
I want to
scary.
go.
Yeah, it is.
I want to go through bro's house. Like, why am I in bro? Like, I get a new ball. Like, yo. But I feel like Granny was peak. I was always getting caught. I don't think I had one game because I was really young. I don't think I had one game where I actually got out her house. I just deleted the game after a while.
Yeah, no, I was not playing that either.
And then it was I forgot exactly what games there were, but there was like a lot of like scary games coming out at that time.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like indie horror games are like super popular, especially for me because I'm like a big YouTube guy, and YouTubers love it. Like they will eat up a new scary game like if one drops, you know, like especially like the mascot horror, you know, like Five Nights at Freddy's, for example, right? You got Poppy Playtime was one that was like huge, right? That came out. But I will say, as far as the most scared horror experience you could go is in virtual reality, right? The virtual reality games are crazy. Like the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, for example, most people would consider it not that scary, but if you played it in VR, I guarantee like you were not surviving. You were not having a good time, you know? So, Fred, do you have any thoughts or opinions on that?
Yeah, I'm a nerd about this thing.
Yo,
like the granny for y'all is like Slenderman for us.
Yo,
Slenderman. Gosh. Yo, and that started with a creepypasta, but like when the game first dropped, a lot of YouTubers played that. Like a lot. It was actually peak on that. I think like the whole aspect of horror is meant for you to be freaked out, and that's the point. And if you're not, good for you. But to those are like, you know, this is another aspect for those who conquer fear. Yeah. But Slenderman wasn't just the only game I played. I played my very first horror game is a game called Fear. And to be very specific, Fear 2. And you're like in this this whole it gets wacky in the middle because it just turns into a zombie game out of nowhere. Yeah. But like you're in this hospital trying to look for a girl who's like possessed, and the whole thing is creepy because there's like blood everywhere. But like I was like, when you guys do play, if you guys want the best experience as well, please, you have to like be alone. One thing, you have to like turn off the lights and make sure like nobody's like kind of like in your way of interrupting, because that is the best experience. And I
mean, that's the most scariest experience. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I mean, like for me, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I could do that, man. I mean, I could do it if someone's next to me, only if someone's next to me. But if I'm playing a scary game by myself, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? Exactly. But I get like some people are like kind of like the thrill seekers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like not even that, but like this is another aspect towards conquering fear. Like there's gonna be times you're not gonna have anybody by you, and that's to be clear.
That's fair.
And this is how I kind of like just love horror at this point, because I've conquered that.
Yeah.
And the first game I literally did that was playing Fear, and like after Fear came like Five Nights at Freddy's, and then that came towards Outlast, which is oh man, that is also
probably one of the most scariest games of all time. AAA.
Yeah, and I forgot like other what's another game? I'm not gonna think like that, but either way, it's just my intentions towards scary games is like that. Like I really like the ones that really freak you out, because if it's not meant to be, then like dang, there's a disappointment.
For sure.
But I'd like good for y'all to not actually put yourselves in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody, you know what I mean?
Really
so that's fine. That's completely fine.
You know what's really scary?
Oh, I want to hear this.
First off, I got two top 10 childhood things that really scarred me. Was Momo. That little half person, half body that hacking into screens and stuff. I was genuinely scared to watch TV. Like
I think Momo was like on the same level of like Slender Man, as far as like people following them and like big news stories, like bad things happen.
A jump scare? No, it's just a really wacky
just a
image.
Really like it's pretty much.
Oh, okay, never mind. Have you heard of Smile Dog?
I haven't.
Listen, you're dating yourself with these creepypastas, man.
Yeah, it's a creepypasta.
Yeah.
After that, which history did repeat itself with this one, but Killer Clowns is 2016.
Oh my goodness.
They was like, they was just running around killing people, and now we got people in New York running around just punching people in the face. So I feel like it really matches. Crazy. I feel like, oh my god, this happened already. Like,
isn't it crazy that people in 2016 were dressing up as clowns and like
we don't know who they are? You gotta think about it. You could be a killer. I could be a killer. You would never know.
It's like Scream. Scream. There you go.
The Impossible.
There you go. As far as Halloween goes, besides the candy and the trick or treating and dressing up, there's a lot of like superstitious stuff that's kind of around like the holidays. So I want to ask you guys how you feel about just like general, like, are you guys superstitious, or are there any like superstitions that are like that are like seeded into like your family, for example?
So for me, I don't believe in superstitions unless there's like proof. Like I have had solid proof. Like I remember one time in the 2nd grade, he was playing Charlie, and the pencil actually moved by itself. I'm just saying, right? Like I'm just saying.
So
like,
you do believe?
I don't really believe it though. Like the thing is, I feel like it could be like it's a possibility for me, but it's not really like haven't seen any like solid evidence yet. Like there's no like
So you're ready.
Nah, I'll really put on that tinfoil hat. Like I'm
Yo.
telling you right now, I will put it on.
Yeah.
I will be. It's gonna be part of my fit. I promise you. It's gonna look clean. Promise
The
you.
next episode, you just see this man with a tin.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
bro,
I know.
like the end is near. I promise you.
Oh
I
my
promise
goodness.
you.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in the next episode. We'll check out. We'll get you in here again.
Yeah.
We're gonna check up on you, make sure you're okay. You know what I mean?
This man is gonna wear.
Yeah,
The
to be
tinfoil.
wearing the tinfoil hat. Let's go. Well, I thank you guys for coming here once again. And it's always great to have you guys in the studio. You know, so thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of
Awesome.
course.